Hey everyone, welcome to the Pre-Vegans Podcast, your go-to spot for plant-powered tips, inspiration, and stories to fuel your journey. On today's episode, we're diving into some protein-packed meat alternatives that'll keep you energized and thriving. Plus, we're sitting down with vegan bodybuilder Torre Washington to hear his incredible vegan origin story. You don't want to miss this.
Hey guys, what's up? V here. Welcome to the very first episode of the Pre-Vegans Podcast. I'm seriously so excited that you're here and ready to kick off this journey into all things plant-based. Whether you're just curious or already testing the waters, I've got you covered. So, here's the deal. On this podcast, we're diving into tips, resources, and all the inspo you need to live a compassionate, healthy life. New episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So set those reminders and seriously, don't leave me hanging. Oh, and while you're here, do me a solid and subscribe and leave a review wherever you're listening. It really helps spread the word. All right, let's get into it. We're starting with some protein-packed, plant-powered meat alternatives. Because yes, you can get swole without steak. Plant-based proteins aren't just healthy, they're delicious, versatile, and fuel your body with strength and compassion. Whether you're new to plant-based living or a seasoned pro, these power-packed foods will keep you feeling satisfied, energized, and thriving. Let's start with tempeh. With 21 grams of protein per cup, tempeh is packed with probiotics, iron and calcium, perfect for supporting muscle and bone health. Its chewy, nutty texture holds marinades like a champ. Steam it first, soak it in bold flavors like soy sauce and garlic, and grill it to perfection. Next up, lentils. 18 grams of protein and a whopping 15 grams of fiber per cup. Talk about heart-healthy fuel. Lentils are tender and earthy, blending perfectly into chilies, stews, and even vegan meatballs. They absorb spices like a dream, so get creative. Can't forget chickpeas. These little gems pack 15 grams of protein and turn buttery and crisp when roasted. Snack on them with paprika and cumin, or toss them into curries for a hearty protein boost. Creamy hummus, anyone? Now let's talk quinoa. It's a complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids. Light, fluffy, and rich in magnesium, quinoa adds crunch and substance to any meal. Pro tip, cook it in veggie broth for that extra burst of flavor. Tofu, the ultimate canvas. With 20 grams of protein per block, tofu's magic lies in its adaptability. Crumble it into scrambles, cube it for air frying, or soak it in marinades for bold flavors. Press out the moisture and let the seasoning work its magic. Ever tried jackfruit? Low in protein but high in fiber, jackfruit's pulled pork-like texture is perfect for BBQ, tacos, and curries. Simmer it in smoky sauces. Trust me, you'll love it. And finally, seitan, the powerhouse. With 21 grams of protein per serving, seitan is dense, chewy, and often called wheat meat. Season it well, and you've got the perfect vegan substitute for steak or chicken. Grill it, fry it, or stew it. The possibilities are endless. Here's the secret to unforgettable plant-based meals. Seasoning. Marinades, spice blends, and sauces transform these proteins into culinary masterpieces. Want more tips and recipes? Head over to prevegans.com or grab the Pre-Vegans book on Amazon. Fuel your body, fuel the planet, and do it with flavor. And we're back. Next up, we're diving into some vegan origin stories. Ever wonder what inspires the top vegan experts to make the switch? Well, we're bringing in the legend himself, Torre Washington, pro bodybuilder and all-around superstar. You're gonna love this one.
I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. And Seventh-day Adventist is a religious belief where they practice worship on Saturdays. And Saturday is the Sabbath. It starts from Friday at 6 p.m. or whenever the sun sets to sunset Saturday night. And during this time, you're not supposed to work. You're only supposed to worship, go to church, and typically the mainstay of the nutrition intake for Seventh-day Adventists is supposedly vegetarian, based on the biblical beliefs in the Bible, if you believe in that. So saying all that to say, my mother raised us strictly with that vegetarian lifestyle. And so that led me down to this path of the label now we know as known as vegan. Because I took from that point when I moved from Alabama to Jamaica, and I learned a little bit more about the Rastafarian culture. And then I moved back to South Florida, even more so, because a lot of my bridging, a lot of my friends were Jamaican, and we started hanging together in high school, and we started to grow our locks. More so for fashion, because, we just want to be in the now. The fashion was to grow little locks on the top, have like a blowout of locks on the top and shaved around the sides. But we started reading more into Rastafarian, and one of our friends, his dad was a Rasta. He didn't have his locks anymore, but he was working within corporate America. So at that time, to have locks in certain countries was considered very evil. It was to the point where they would shoot you on sight just because Rasta was considered the type of person that will go against modern man, because Rasta's whole history was not to be oppressed. We're lions. We don't bow down to nobody. Like, just because you say professionalism is clean cut, no hair, whose definition of professionalism is it? You've come up with your own definition. We don't agree with that. So understanding that whole history, studying it, and seeing that Rasta lived more of an Ital lifestyle. Ital is natural, meaning Ital is vital. We eat from the earth, especially from the Bobo Shanti Rasta that lived in the bushes in Jamaica. But a lot of what I started to find out is, although you have the differences with certain Rastas, but you had some Rastas who still ate fish, still ate chicken, and even though they still consider themselves Rasta, they still hail Emperor Selassie and Marcus Garvey and all them things. But I didn't want to, when I really found out that what Ital truly was, to see that Rastas weren't actually following that, made me feel more of a hypocrite to actually call myself a Rasta, but still, partake in items that may contain eggs in it or butter or what have you. And there's still some form of not eating from the earth. And so in 1998, I decided to say, you know what? I'm just going to cut all of that out. And now, at that time, I didn't know what this vegan thing was, even though vegan had been around since the 70s, or even probably earlier than that. In this country, in this day and age, everything has a label. And so in order for you to be lumped into a group, we have to label it. So that way we can understand it more by giving you a label and then put a definition to it. And I feel that that's a asinine way to do things, to always put a definition to a group of people so that you can separate them from everyone else, when in this time we should be wanting to come together.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget the first time I really truly got tested for being vegan. I was in Atlanta at a veg fest, and I was standing at a food truck about to get some food. It's cold. This is Georgia, Alabama's north. It was in September, November timing. So it's cold. It can snow there. It can get ice in Georgia. So I had on my Timbs, nice jacket, whatever. And this lady standing next to me in line says, "Are your shoes vegan?" And I was so confused. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to eat my shoes. That's to me, I was like, what? Are my shoes vegan? I'm not eating them, because to me, I looked at vegan or that lifestyle as what you took in, what you consumed for your bodily performance. So from that point on, it was just a learning process for me, learning more about the lifestyle, understanding it, and taking out the parts that I didn't really agree with, which was people considering it a diet. Hey man, what's your diet? Because to me, I look at diet as, even if you just break down the word and say it in its way it is, the diet, it sounds like you're saying I'm ready to die. So, but die yet? I'm not ready to die yet. I'm ready to just continue to thrive and live. You know what I mean?
Thanks for hanging out with me for the first episode of the Pre-Vegans podcast. If you're vibing with this, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. It helps more people find the show. Catch you next time.
You're listening to the Pre-Vegans podcast, part of the Vegans Explore Network. For more info on the Pre-Vegans program, upcoming challenges, and how to get involved, head over to prevegans.com. Today's episode was edited and produced by Vegans Explore founder Shawnee Russell.
I'm V, your official guide to all things Vegans Explore, and I've got some juicy news. The Vegans Explore Network has officially launched. Get ready for podcasts packed with powerful conversations to fuel your vegan journey. Tuesdays, tune into the Vegans Who Lift podcast, where the iconic duo John Thomas, aka the bodybuilding vegan, and Brooke Sellers, aka Miss Meatless Muscle, get real about all things bodybuilding, mental health, relationships, and of course, veganism. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the Pre-Vegans podcast is your go-to guide for starting your vegan journey or supporting someone on theirs. With bite-sized episodes and incredible interviews with top vegan experts, this one's a must-listen. But wait, there's more. We're cooking up new shows and want your ideas. Got a question for one of our hosts? Slide over to vegansexplore.com, become a member, and get your voice heard on the show. Let's explore, inspire, and grow together.